Yo, what's up, everybody? I wanted to take a minute to walk y'all through this Cheetahmen run that I've been doing. It's not a super well understood run. I think the biggest reason for that is, the game is janky and it's not exactly very easily accessible. Like if you run an EverDrive N8 standard like I do, basically impossible to run this. You can't run it in its standard format. There's only this one really weird cut out chunk of ROM data that was recompiled into one ROM bank that works for this. So like it's and nobody has the cartridge. Action 52. I mean, it's a hard fucking cartridge to find. Right? With me? So this is not exactly the most popular speedrun on the planet, but I think that it probably gets more hate than it really deserves. And to do this appropriately, we're going to need the cheetahs. And we're also going to need to open our Cheetahmen splits. Not because we're going to use them, but because I want to see that layout right there. Okay? Also, what do we got? What else we got here? What's this? What we got? Let's see if I got something here I can make this even more delicious. No, it's not there. Let's look in art and emotes because I want to I want to have some fun here. I want to I guess I don't have it still. What a shame. What a shame. Well, that's okay. Anyway, I want to take a moment here and walk through this run. And probably no one's going to be interested in this, but I would like to just kind of walk through it because there's no walkthrough of this game anywhere. Like I had to compile all this information from watching a ton of old runs from back in the day, and then just sort of like piece together what I could. And I don't know everything. But I'm going to walk you through a way to get through this game. I'm not going to go through the tightest of strategies, but I'm going to teach you by going screen by screen the most efficient and effective way to run through this game in a relatively safe manner that allows you to complete runs. Now, to do this, you're going to need two controllers, okay? So I actually need to plug in my second controller. To do this game the way I'm going to teach you, you need two controllers. Or if you're running an emulator, you can map both controller 1 and controller 2 to the same inputs. So you can map both controller 1 and controller 2 inputs to the one controller that you have, so that when it does switch and turn control over to player 2, you're already in control because you have player 2's controller mapped to your player 1 controller, if that makes sense. All right, we have our second controller plugged in. We're not going to need this for a while. You don't use the second controller until the end of the game, but you have to have it. So what we're going to do to start, we're going to start this thing off. We select 2-player. You want to play as 2-player here. That's the first thing you need to know. All right, first thing you need to know. Second thing you need to know is each level is very different from the level before. And I don't just mean like in, the enemies you face or the level design. I mean, the actual gameplay is very different. The way that your cheetah handles, whether you have a life bar or not, whether you can do the jump glitch or not. All of that changes from level to level. Now, I'm not going to be using jump glitch much in this, if at all. I may use it one time, depending on what type of strats we want to use on the column screen, which we'll get into in a moment. But you'll see as we go through this thing, and I'm going to try to highlight some of that as I go through this. Now, this first level that we start on here, is pretty straightforward. We're going to run to the right. We're going to go to the second waterfall, and we're going to jump down the waterfall. Okay? All right. Let's turn the music on because this is good music. So we run to the right. There's a block in our way right here. We just go up, over, and down again, just like that. Well, it's a little slow, but yeah, you get the idea. There's the first waterfall. There's the second waterfall, and we just jump in the waterfall. Okay? That is the first screen. There's nothing to it. We're going to do it again, just so you can kind of see it again for whatever reason. Up, over, down. Slow. That's very slow. You want to do that as smoothly as possible. Second waterfall, jump in the waterfall. Easy as pie. Anybody can do that, right? So now we are here. This is a transitional screen before we go into level 2. You can pick up this one up. You're not going to need it, but pick it up, go into level 2. Here we are. Now, level 2 is a totally different mechanic. Now you can jump. You can also do the jump glitch if you want to, which I'll talk about in a little bit. It's really not that, I mean, it's cool, but it's not something that I use in the speed run. I'll just show you the jump glitch real quick. So you jump like that, and you can infinitely jump in midair, say. Okay. And then I'll show you what I just did there, and then I'll go over that in detail. You want to jump over Saddam Hussein and get these two things behind you here. I call those trailers. Okay? These are trailers because they're trailing you. You don't have to call them that if you don't want to, and you want to keep them close, but not too close, because you see right there, we just got hit by something. We got hit by one of our trailers, and that's unfortunate. So now we're kind of screwed here. But I want to show you without that jump glitch there at the beginning how to time up your jump over Saddam Hussein, because it's not pixel perfect. You have about a 4 to 8 frame window maybe. But we'll set a save state there so we'll go through that a few times. I don't need a save state here. That's so freaking terrible. Up, over, no. You just go up a little bit like this. Almost. That's still bad. Whatever. Anyway, you'll find the most efficient way. Over that block into the waterfall. And we'll set a save state when we get into level 2 here. All right. So the way I run this, I don't do the jump glitch there. I just go straight down. And I want to have my foot. If you'll notice where my foot is right here. Right there. You see where my foot is, the front of my foot? It's touching that part, that mortar line right there. It lines up directly with the with that dark shadow up top. But where my front foot is, that's where you want to land, just like that. When you land, you want your foot to be there because that puts you far enough forward on the screen. The screen will not scroll right until you've landed. So you can actually set your X position however you want to. As you're falling, and that's where you want to be. So we're going to walk forward here. We're going to watch on the ground. There's going to be 2 small little blue, like stalactites or stalagmites, whatever the ones that come from the bottom. And we're going to want to jump when our foot touches the first one. We want to jump forward. So let's see what that looks like. See that? I jumped just a hair early there. Just a hair early. So let's try that again. There we go. And you jump over Saddam Hussein, over the pit. Now you have your 2 little trailers here. And these are really important. You want to keep these guys, and the way I'm going to teach you is the safe, easy strategy. You want to keep these guys on screen with you. Don't let them go out of the screen. If you lose a trailer, that's a bad deal. Now here you can make a different decision if you want to. Like you can actually outrun them here if you want to deal with enemies coming from the front. The safe strategy, even though it costs time, is to keep them behind you this whole time. Now, when you get to this part of the screen and you see those pillars start to rise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up, you're getting to the end of the level. You want to make sure that your X position is very close to the middle of the screen. If you're too far forward, you're about to take a death. So as we're coming forward, we want our X position to be close to the middle of the screen, which it is. We're fine. And as we walk forward, the screen will stop scrolling and our boss will appear. And if you're too far forward, he'll kill you instant impact. If you're where we are now, he'll jump over you and then continue. We're going to attack that guy. These 2 trailers will disappear when the boss appears. That's important information. You don't have to fight them. Once the boss appears, they go away. There's a like a priority there. And so anyway, that's what they do. So we're going to just continue walking forward. And they're gone. Now we want to punch this guy as he lands. And you should be able to do it in 3 cycles pretty easily. 2 cycles is the goal, and there is a 1 cycle kill that is extremely difficult to do. This is the next cheetah. This is Hercules. I'm going to run through this previous stage just one more time because I want you guys to see this, and I want to talk through each of the little elements here to help you get through this screen safely. Give me 1 second. I got to grab something. I left my drink over there. Give me 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. I'm thirsty. As you can hear, my voice is starting to get scratchy. Maybe take some Halls too. Let me just go ahead and break out a Halls for you here. It's a little Halls. All right. So this screen one more time. It's real simple. If you do it, you manipulate the enemies in the right way. It's a free level. Totally free if you manipulate the enemies properly. We got to get the first trick is getting the jump over Saddam Hussein and the gap at the same time and allowing the 2 trailers to get behind you. That's the first step of this run. After that, it's understanding where the platforming sections, where the platforms are, so that you can know which ones to skip safely and which ones will allow you to gain distance farther away from your trailers, or when to pause to allow your trailers to catch up if they're getting too close to the back of the screen and you're afraid you're going to lose them off the back. You got to sometimes slow down so you don't lose your trailers. Here's what this looks like. All right, let's get back to our Cheetahmen music here. All right, drop in, line up your foot, and go. Jump at that first stalactite. Get your trailer behind you. Right there. You see those 2 other stalagmites right there? Those 2 other upward-facing icicles? When you see those 2, you're coming up to this gap in the floor. So as soon as, and this is a wide-open trick, you have tons of time. Once you recognize that you see those 2, you can jump. They're not in any danger of falling down that hole as long as you're just looking for those 2. Look for those 2 coming through, and you'll get through it every time. Let's do this over again, and we'll talk about that too. All right. Right there. Because we're looking for it. Now I like to gain a little, lose a little exposition there. And our trailers are going to start going away from us here. So we have to make sure we're slowing down enough on these platforms. So I may have to slow down a little too much here. No, we're good. If you slow down too much, they'll hit you. Now, as long as those 2 are on screen, nothing will spawn in front of me until I get to the boss. So I can keep him on screen the whole time if I want to. And here's the boss right here. He jumps over. 3 cycle kill on the boss. So that's a pretty simple screen. Feel free to rewind that and watch it a few times. I think I talked about everything. There's not a lot to that screen. Now this screen, there's a little more too. Just because you have to manipulate enemies in a certain way, it's not difficult to do once you understand it, but if you are just casually playing the game and you're starting and stopping, you're going to encounter a lot of bullshit. If you run it the way I teach you, if you run it the way I teach you, you're going to be able to have a smooth, clean, easy, fun screen here. Because we're going to do a little trick in the screen. We're going to do a moonwalk all the way through the screen, which is kind of fun. And it makes the run fun. And you lose about 4 frames doing the setup. So you're not losing much. Now, if you're going for world record, don't do it. But other than that, you're losing 4 frames, maybe 8 at the most. Probably 4. Less than a quarter of a second's what you're losing. So this is Hercules. He's a big giant sprite, as you can see. He's much bigger. He's the biggest of the 3. He's all muscle. He doesn't have any weapons. He uses his fists. And we may have already screwed this up because I let him fall downward. And I shouldn't have. I should have been holding to the right this whole time. The reason is some of the fireball shooting devices in this room are on a timer, and so you want to get past them as quick as possible. So by me falling down and my y-axis lowering before I start moving forward, that might actually cost us a bunch of health if we get hit by those fireballs. But we're just going to go anyway. I'm going to go ahead and set a save state here, and then hopefully we're not fucked. We're just going to go. Okay, we're good. Now, here's where you make that little turn, and I'm going to show this to you a few times. I'm just going to run through it real quick, and you'll see how smooth and simple it looks. We're designed to take that damage right there, and then you fall down this hole. So that looks really, really smooth, easy, and simple, right? If you do this thing incorrectly and you lose forward momentum, everything goes fucking haywire. So we're going to cruise, do this little stutter step. Now, the way I get this moonwalk going, I'll show you, is I plant my foot. And, of course, this is stupid and certainly not needed for anything. But I plant my foot against the corner of that little step down there. And then I turn 1 frame tap to the left and then jump with no direction pad and then direction pad once I'm in the air. So plant, 1 frame tap, jump backwards without holding a direction as you jump. Now, if you let go of right here, you notice how we're only getting 1 enemy on the ground that we're having to jump over? That's because we're manipulating this thing, okay? And I'll show you how. I'll show you how we're doing that. If you stutter step there, that plane going overhead goes off screen. Now, the one thing that we sort of touched on a little bit, with the 2 trailers that we had, is that there can only be 2 enemy sprites. If you have 2 enemy sprites on screen, a third cannot generate. And that doesn't mean that there can be only 2 on screen, but if there's already 2 on screen, another cannot generate. You can have tons of enemy sprites on screen, but they will not spawn if there's already 2. So because that plane is flying overhead, if we hold right and never slow down, there is the stationary item on the ground plus the plane on screen. We jump over the stationary item just as the plane leaves. When we land, the second plane comes behind it when the stationary object at the bottom appears. So there's 2 on screen and another one cannot spawn. Now, if we fuck that up, I'll show you what happens. We'll go ahead and do the moonwalk here. So, for instance, we take this hit, jump over this. Now here, see that little car? That little car. So there was 2 on screen. Now the other one can't spawn. So we have to get through a certain point. Now, one thing that's important to know here, you see those fireballs that thing was shooting? Those do not count as enemy sprites. And that's important to know because they can shoot 4 or 5 of those at the same time. As Hercules, you can take 3 hits. Your 4th hit kills you. So if they shoot 4 fireballs at the same time and you get hit by all 4 of them, you're dead in 1 hit. There's no iframes in this game. Because there's no iframes in this game, it changes the way you do certain fights and boss battles and shit. We'll talk about that later. But for instance, as we go through this screen, just kind of notice those fireballs that generate from those little fireball shooters. Those do not count as enemy sprites. And we're going to continue walking forward. And if you continue walking forward, once you get on the path, you will not have to worry about that little Hot Wheels car fucking your day up. Okay, we missed all those fireballs. That's a good thing. So you take that hit there, and then you jump under. Now you have to jump under that guy. You don't want to hit that fireball thing. You take this hit here on purpose, and then we just fall straight down. And that's the end of the level. One more time. You don't have to do the moonwalk thing. Come down here, we jump. Oh, just underneath. You got to make sure your head clears there, and then jump over those little blue things on the ground while the planes are in the air. And then you fall. And that's it. That's the whole level. So, from the top, this should look very natural. Only the one enemy on the ground, which is how we manipulate. Luckily, the frames line up to where we just hold to the right, okay? All right, so that is that level. This next level is also a Hercules level, and it is a little more intricate. There's a lot going on in this level, visually and mechanically. It is probably the most mechanically developed screen in this whole game. You have water momentum, you have conveyor belt momentum, you have ladders, you have lots of cool stuff, and this is a very cool stage, and it's a lot of fun to play, but you have to keep in mind that all these physics are a thing, even though in this game it's amazing that they have physics at all. But this particular screen, this particular level we're going into now is pretty dope for the physics, and this is the level that makes me want to run this game. When I think about playing this game, the tactile feel I get playing this level is what keeps bringing me back. The setups are real easy here. Not a lot to worry about or fuck around with. We fall forward. You see how I fell forward? I held to the right and fell forward. Okay, that's what we want to do. Fall forward. Now you're going to notice the first thing here. We see that blue enemy coming overhead. Below him on the ground, which he has not spawned in yet, is another enemy. We want to jump. As soon as that blue thing gets over our head directly, we jump and hold right, and that allows us to jump over that next enemy. So here's what that looks like. Okay, see that? That's how we do that. Now this next one, we're about to make another jump right here, and I'll show you what my visual cue is for this. You can use any visual cue you want, but I'll show you what I use. So there is a series of bricks. Okay, look right there. You see those bricks patterns on the background, the little faded out ones, right? So you see the one that's touching my Cheetahman's foot right now. If you look to the right and slightly lower, there's that next pattern. As soon as my cheetah is firmly within that pattern, I jump again. So we move forward, jump between the two. Now here's that pattern, I jump, and that puts me between those two right there. You see that? Now these conveyor belts, as you can see, they have momentum. They have conveyor belt momentum, so you can actually walk against them, which is actually a really neat mechanic for this game, you know? So once again, jump in between these first two enemies, then jump at this brick, and it'll always leave you there. Jump, jump. Now here's where you can take a couple of different tactics. Historically Bad is a really good runner of this game. I enjoy watching his runs. He likes to just walk off this platform, fall onto the conveyor, and allow the conveyor momentum to carry him underneath this enemy that's about to spawn in. I like to jump here. It cuts it close, but it saves about 4 to 8 frames. So here's Historically Bad's method. He'll walk forward. Oh, not that. That's not what I meant. Sorry, H-Bad. Let me do the whole thing from start to finish. Oh, that's my method. Never mind. Okay, let's just do this thing again. So here's Historically Bad's method. He just likes to do that. And that's perfectly fine. That's dope. It works. But sometimes it gives you a little dip right there where you actually duck down and lose momentum. And I'll show you what that looks like if I can make it happen. Like, not like that. That's actually, that's ideal if it doesn't make you dip. Sometimes it'll make you dip though there, and then it costs you some time. Let me see if I can make that happen. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, you're getting a crash course in what not to do here. See how it dipped me down right there? And that actually fucks your X pixel up a little bit right there and is very dangerous. That's what you don't want. Now, it obviously worked out for me just fine. It works out for HBAD just fine. So if that's the way you want to do that, it's actually safe. You can just drop straight down. We'll do it one more time. Drop straight down, and it just dips you. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do it a little differently. Let's see if I can remember how I do it now that I've been fucking around with that. Let's see. That's how I do it. I keep the forward momentum with jumps, and then it just you're constantly moving, right? And that's, for me, that's ideal. That feels ideal, as opposed to taking that slight time loss or the few frames that you lose there. And then once you get on the ladder, jump, and it takes your Y position up much higher. When you get to the top here, this is an important section because there's an enemy that's going to spawn in to the right on that pink floor you see there, purple or pink or whatever. There's an enemy down there. It's a big boobed girl dancing around down there, and she'll fuck you up. Also, look, if you see, we now have a life bar, which we didn't have in the previous levels. So we're going to jump to the right. We can climb all the way to the top here, and then we hit B to jump to the right. And you jump as high and as far as you can. And on your way down, you have to do one shimmy, left and then right. You'll see me do it, and you'll see why I do it here in just a second, because there's an enemy coming that's going to be painful if we hit it. So jump, shimmy. See that? We'll do this whole section again. We'll set a save state up here. And then jump. See? All right. So we go all the way to the top. Big jump to the right. Shimmy down. If you don't shimmy, that guy fucks you up right there. So, but this next section here, there's many different ways to play this next section, and I'm going to teach you probably the safe and secure way to do it. That allows you to avoid as much damage as you can. And I'm just going to walk through it here real quick. And there's a reason I did all those movements. Okay, we're going to walk through that again. So jump and then shimmy down. Jump, shimmy down. See that? Now here, if you notice, our X position is so far forward that it's hard to see the screen. So if you feel more comfortable doing those little shimmies right there to reposition yourself in the center of the screen, there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes I'll incorporate that into my platforming. So shimmy. So I'll go. See what I'm saying? Like it, and you're not losing a ton of time. And there's a reason I did that little shake right there, and I'll go through that here in just a second. And that shake too. And then one more jump here, and then we spawn the boss. All right. So I'll go through this sort of section by section, but what you can kind of see what I'm doing and why, and you can figure out why. Big jump, shimmy down, and then I'll kind of maybe scroll the screen a couple of times here. If you just shake in midair. So this section here, when you get to this point, you have a decision that you can make on this next waterfall. You can take it safe and jump behind the big boob chick, or you can just use the waterfall's momentum, which is actually a little dangerous, but you can use the waterfall's momentum to skip an entire platform and land on the chick, costing you some damage. It saves roughly a half to 3/4 of a second if you take the damage, because you're skipping an entire platform and you're not having to meticulously position yourself on her platform to where as not to die. But it does cost you HP when you take the hit, and if you run the risk of falling off the edge of the platform and dying because of the waterfall momentum. So we're going to try it both ways here. And shimmy. We can do a little couple of shakes here and there to kind of clear it up. So we're going to do this one first. Oh, and I still took the hit. So normally what you would want to do is land about right there. If you land there, you will not damage her and you will not damage yourself. You just land behind her. And then a little shaky shake. Line it all up. See that? I just landed right behind her and then jump and then forward. Okay, so that's that part. That's that way. There's also the way where you just use the waterfall's momentum to skip an entire platform, which is pretty dope if you can pull it off. I've been doing it recently in speedruns and it works out just fine. See that? See how I use the momentum? Now I took the damage, but I saved myself 3/4 of a second there. And the rest of this, you'll get the feel for it. And again, this whole time, that two enemy sprite spawn limit thing is playing a huge role in everything we're doing. So we'll do this part. I want to get a little centered here. But this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain. Okay, so there we were able to land on that platform without taking damage. So this time I want to explain what's going on in this next part. There's a tiny enemy that comes down while these conveyor belts are moving. You can just plow through them if you have plenty of health. Like we didn't take any damage there, so it is prudent for us right now to take some damage because we can if you want to. I mean, obviously you can save it all for the boss if you want. And there is a compelling argument about saving your energy for the boss because I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. The boss battles are fucking weird. The damage that you give is contingent upon your starting exposition when the attack takes place in relation to the starting exposition of the enemy. So when the rhino lowers his head and starts running, he is running to you at a specific distance. If he's on the far right of the screen and you're on the far left of the screen, he knows when he starts his run how far he's got to go, and he's going to go the whole way. So if you jump over him, he'll go all the way to where you were. So the key is to move forward 3 or 4 pixels as soon as he's about to get to you and enforce your damage. And what that will do is it'll leave your fist inside of his hitbox just slightly longer to inflict 2 rather than 1 damage, or whatever the formula is, but you get the idea. So there is a compelling argument for saving all of your health. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and save my health, and I'm just going to stall. I'm going to jump on this first platform and then stall until the guy falls down to where he's no longer a threat. Then we have another waterfall coming up where we have a manipulation that we do on an enemy that's coming up, and you'll see how that works. We want to manipulate this flying enemy. So I'm just going to kind of stall here until he's gone, right? Now this platform right here, this waterfall platform is really important. As soon as your face goes into that waterfall plane right there, right? As soon as your face enters the plane of that waterfall as it's coming down, an enemy is going to spawn, a flying enemy from the right. Now, the only way to be able to keep your forward momentum here is to jump into the waterfall to spawn him, and then allow yourself to move backwards to the left with the momentum of the waterfall, and then go under him to the right, and then jump under him as he flies overhead to the next platform. It sounds complex, and it is, but when you watch it, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on, but there's a whole lot going on. So we're gonna, just like that. See that? What we did was we jumped into the waterfall to spawn the guy, and then we allowed our momentum to carry us backwards, and then we went underneath him. So I should have just done that. That's okay. Let me turn this music off real quick. All right, so get here, stall 1 second, spawn him, and then jump underneath him. You saw that. Now we get to this big waterfall. Now this big waterfall, we have to use the momentum of this waterfall for this next jump. The waterfall will push you to the right and you just jump when you get to the edge. It's real simple. As soon as you land on the green platforms, you want to make a jump to the right and then do a little stutter back left and then right again. And the reason we do that is to manipulate the next enemy that's coming so that we don't get hit as she runs underneath. It's another big boob chick. You'll see it. So we'll use this next platform. I'll use the waterfall to boost us to the right. We'll jump. When we hit the green platform, we'll jump again quickly, do a shimmy in the air, and then jump right to go over the big boob chick, and then walk all the way into the boss arena. Here's what that looks like. All right, and then one more enemy coming right here, and then boom, boss is here. Okay? So that's that screen. I know it's a lot to take in, but if you want to watch the world record run, there's some super fast shit going on. What I'm teaching right now is a way to get through these screens and beat the game. And to do so fast, I'm using these strats. I've got a 3-minute, 30-second time. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure that's correct. Yeah, 3:30. All right. One more time through this section, and then we'll fight this boss, and I'll teach you how to fight him. Shimmy down. Give you a little shake here to get my x-axis correct. Jump here. We'll take the safe strat. We'll jump to this platform over, and we died. That's what happens when you go a couple pixels too far. All right, let's see what we got. Jump and shimmy down. Clear up the x-axis. Safe strat. Right behind her. Spawn that guy. Then we want to spawn this dude and jump underneath him. Practice that. That's a little more complex than it looks. Shimmy. Go. And jump here. And one more jump. And now we're at boss. Once our face gets to that third block on the right, the boss will spawn. So like I said before, this boss is basically, I have him listed in my splits as Timu Rocksteady. Not a whole lot going on. He just runs at you, and you got to punch him in the face when he runs at you. Here's the thing. If you're in his way, like I said, you have no iframes in this game. So if he runs through you, you're going to die. Because you'll get hit 4 times, once every 4th frame or whatever. He's in your hitbox. I don't know what the number is, but you get the idea. He's going to run through you and you will die. Immediately, one hit. Doesn't matter if you have full health or not. Now, we can actually manipulate this guy to our advantage and get a 2-cycle kill, which is basically a crit, which is very difficult to get. But what we're shooting for is a 3-cycle kill on this guy. We want to get a 3-cycle kill because each of his turns takes 4 or 5 seconds. So it saves 4 or 5 seconds if we get a 3-cycle over a 4-cycle, if that makes sense. And 3 or 4 seconds in a 3-minute and 30-second run is huge. Fucking huge. You know what I mean? Massive. So here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and we'll set a save state here. And we're going to do this boss fight. So we're going to walk forward, spawn him in, run, right? Now, that's not exactly how we want to do it. We want to run and then punch him. So, like that. See how we did damage to him? He doesn't have a health meter, but you want to punch twice when he comes at you. Now, if you'll watch my feet, as he gets close, I will inch forward about 3 to 4 pixels as I punch twice. And that allows my arm to be in his hitbox longer. See that? How my feet move forward? Now, he hit me there, but because he didn't spend more than 1 frame in my hitbox, it didn't take all my life. So, he hit me there again, too. And we killed him. But that was a long one. That was a 5-cycle, and we don't want that, right? So, let's try it again. One thing you can do, if you don't kill him there, is you can run up there and punch him. But if you do, you run a 50-50 chance of him despawning and you being soft locked. As you can see, we have done that. That's part of the jank of this game. So Yes, it makes sense to run up there and punch him if you miss the 3 cycle, but 50% of the time it will soft lock your game. Just be aware of that. Punch, punch. Move forward, punch, punch. Move forward, punch, punch. And you can run forward if you don't get the three cycle. You can run forward and punch him. That time we won the coin flip. One more time on this boss. Spawn him in, run to the left, punch twice. You got to get him punching on that first cycle. Second cycle, move forward. Third cycle, move forward. If you don't get him on the third cycle, you can like run up to him and punch him. But then, like I said, there we lost the coin flip. So it's up to you. Yeah, we missed the punch there. There we go. There you go. Won the coin flip. So that's that boss. You can fight him any number of ways. The idea is that you take no damage and you inflict lots of damage. This level here is a bitch. This is the level that makes me not want to run this game. This is the level that was designed so that nobody could beat it. This is actually level 5, but it's called level 4 in the game because there's 2 level 3s. So it goes level 1, level 2, level 3, level 3, level 4. Don't ask. In this level, there are all kinds of weird shit going on, and you're going to have to use your 2 sprite manipulation the entire way through. If you do not use your 2 sprite manipulation, you will get chewed up in the first 10 seconds of this screen, and there will be nothing left of your cheetah. You will be dead. This is a new cheetah, as you can see, the smallest of all the cheetah. This is Apollo. He's got arrows. So here's what we're going to do. First thing we got to do is we got to clear this gap, and I don't know if I saved myself enough. Yeah, I did. Okay. You want to be moving forward to the right. I don't know if the faster you get through the screen, it seems like the fewer fireballs come at you when you get to the fireball sections. So let me just beat this guy real quick, and I'll make a save state so we can practice that drop in. I'm just going to take my time here and kill him slowly. Safely. Nope, I don't want to do that thing. Yeah, this is what it's like if you just fight him casually. All right. I'm going to set a save state. Notice he has no text. Like the other ones had text, he has none because you were never supposed to get here. Okay. Cheetahmen. Hold to the right and go. When you get to this point, you have platforms in front of you, and I'm going to try to go through this as best I can. The little platform in front of us is inconsequential. It does not play a role in anything that we're going to do. It's just a platform that we jump on so we can get to the next platform. The platform just to the right of that, there's another one that's identical to it on the other side. Okay? Now I want you to look at this screen in terms of geometry. Okay? I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let's look here. Okay, that's about as far forward as I want to go. Look at the cheetah's face. You notice that vertical dark line coming down right in front of his nose, like all the way down right to his nose, and then it makes a right. We want that to be our jumping point. So we're going to jump from there all the way to the right and try to get as far over on that next platform as we can, preferably all the way to the edge, because we're going to make a crazy quick 1 or 2 frame. It's like a 2-frame window jump to get to a maximum height to kill this weird green thing coming in the screen on the right, on the very top of the screen. In order for us to kill it, we've got to make this jump just about perfect. Now, there's a fast way to do this and a slow way to do this. I'm going to teach you the slow way first, and then I'll try to go through it the fast way just to show you the difference. We're going to kill 3 enemies in 3 motions here, as opposed to 3 enemies in 1 motion, which is the fast way. It's very dangerous, but it's much faster. All right. Watch what I do here. It's important. Actually, let me go ahead and turn this lo-fi off here, and we'll just start here. Right there. Jump all the way over, straight up, and shoot. See how I did that? If you don't get it in the right window, you take a hit there, and you can't afford to take that hit. And we missed it. We got hit there. We can't afford that. There's a difference in the sound between you making contact and you getting hit. So that's what it's supposed to sound like, that. If you get hit, it sounds like this. You hear that? Versus... I don't know how to describe it any better than that. Anyway, we got to kill this guy. So jump forward, straight up, and then shoot. You got to line it up just right. These projectiles are shitty. They're tiny, and they have very limited scope, I guess is the best way to put it. If you're not right on the same pixel, you're not hitting that thing. So that's a really important thing to practice right there. This may seem like very simple stuff, but you're about to encounter a really brutal stage that requires you to be very precise. So what we just did there is very precise. You may not have looked it, but if you try it in practice, it requires precision. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try this all over again. We're going to get that kill, and then we're going to talk about the next steps. Okay, got it. Next steps. We want to jump forward to the right, and we want our body to move forward roughly 4 to 5 pixels. That will spawn in an enemy from the right that's moving much faster. And then as we're jumping forward 4 or 5 pixels, immediately we want to move our momentum backwards as far as we can, so that we can make a mid-range, mid-level jump and shoot the guy. Okay? Which looks something like this. Actually, I screwed that up. Let's try that again. Whole thing from the top. I got hit there. Let's try it again. If you get hit there, you're not the run's not over. You got to change your strategy later. So we're going to jump forward, jump back, and then shoot him. You see how I did that? On the way down. So it's jump forward, jump back, shoot. Jump forward, jump back, shoot. Jump forward, slide back, shoot. Yeah, it's more of a slide, because you just shoot forward, back, and then you make that like that. But it's got to be done. It's got to be done right at the level that thing's coming in. And I looked at it, I think it's somewhere like between 8 and 12 pixels above the actual foundation base of that platform. Let's try it again. Forward, jump up, shoot, missed it. He got hit. So we're going to practice this. Got it. So forward. See that? That's how you want that to go. Because now you've killed 2 of the first 3 enemies in this room. And those first 3 enemies, if you take 1 or 2 damage, your run is in jeopardy. If you can kill all 3 without dying, without getting hit, then you can do fast strats for the rest of the run. So let's try this again, and I'll show you the next step. Got hit there. It's unfortunate. Oh, why am I getting hit now? Okay. Got it. Now this next step, you come over to this platform. Now you see this vertical line in front of my face again. We're looking for that same vertical line. That vertical line is about, when you cross that, is when the next enemy spawns on the right. Now when he spawns on the right, he's going to be above your head level, and he's coming fast. So what we want to do is we actually want to jump straight up right here. We don't even go to that line. We jump straight up here, and then we move forward right into where that line is. And as we're descending, we shoot the guy. Like that, you see? So that's how you want to attack that guy. Now, once you beat that guy, your level has been set up properly, and you can now afford to be a little more proactive versus reactive, right? So we're going to try to kill all those guys again. We'll do the whole thing, and then when we get to this point, I'm going to set a save state, because this next section requires a save state. I'm telling you, this is a brutal level. All the other levels combined do not touch this level. Dead. I want to go through, after I do this level properly, I want to go through and show you what contingencies you can do. If you take early damage, how you can go through the level and still try to get through safely. I'm taking unnecessary damage here, and I don't know why. Okay, and then jump forward, back, and shoot. Good. Come over to here. We're going to jump up straight here, forward, and shoot it on the way down. Okay. Now here's where save state comes in, because this next part is rough. This is where your 2 sprite limit's going to come into play. I'm just going to run through this real quick and make sure that the save state didn't screw us, because, like I said, some of these fireball things are on a timer, and we're about to hit a very, very volatile area. This is the only part in the game that RNG plays a huge role. This is the only part in the game where RNG plays a role. So you got to be ready for both things that could happen here. So we jump over here. Now, if we walk any farther forward, you're going to see a little guy appear on the ground of the platform in front of us. Now, when he appears, he's going to be going back and forth, left and right, left and right. We want to jump and land exactly on the edge of that platform. You see where that big, long, black streak comes down the background and touches the edge of that platform? That's where we want to land, because if we land close enough to the edge, the guy on the ground cannot come over far enough to hit us. You're almost like invincible in that one little spot. So when we make this jump, we're going to want to land there and then jump forward immediately, because there's a skull coming on the right. And we want to try to shoot that guy in the air as we're falling and not take damage from the dude on the ground. It sounds like a lot. It is a lot. Let's see what it looks like in practice. Hopefully I can pull this off. Okay, that skull came in way too quick. So right here, just like that. You see that? And we didn't take the hit from the guy on the bottom. Now look, I have 2 sprites on screen now, 2 enemy sprites. I have this Bic lighter in front of me and this condom wrapper behind me. That condom wrapper is going left and right like crazy. If I jump over this Bic lighter and that condom wrapper goes out of the screen to the left, a giant green skull is going to appear on the right coming at me fast, and I have to be ready for that. Or I can pause here and wait and time it up to where I jump over the Bic lighter when the condom wrapper is farther on the right of that screen, so I don't risk losing it off to the right. So let's see what that looks like. See how it's going back and forth? So if I make the jump as the condom wrapper is coming forward to the right, then the skeleton, the skull, will not appear because there's already 2 on screen, if you recall. So let's try that. Like that. See? So now I can walk forward, and we're going to see something. We're going to see, as I walk forward, we're going to see 2 enemies appear on the right, and it's potentially going to be 2, but it could be 1 depending on a couple of different factors. But as we walk forward, we'll see that condom wrapper right there. So we got to jump over that condom wrapper, and then it will come back to the left or to the right with us, and we'll see this next little green elf guy on the ground. So let's run that whole section again. Okay, so that green skull appeared because I didn't wait. Take that damage there, take that damage there, and fall down here. So if you do the first part of that screen appropriately, you can take those 2 damages right there. If not, you have contingencies. You have to take a much safer route. See that? Okay, now we're safe. So we walk forward. There's going to be a condom wrapper. We jump over it. So now look, we got fucked here, okay? Because we let that guy go off the screen to the left. When we came over here, that Bic lighter appeared right on the edge, and we took a hit. So now we have 1 health point left, and we know that there's 2 guys coming. So here's the contingency for this. If you get here and you have 1 health point left, there's 2 guys coming. The guy on the ground will spawn first. If you inch forward, he'll spawn first on the ground. Then we just do a timed jump where we jump over him, move to the right slightly, and if you move forward to the right at your maximum height, you're already at the perfect level to shoot that next green thing coming in, and it'll stagger them so they will no longer be right on top of each other. You let the first guy spawn and come towards you, you jump straight up in the air, move forward at the height of your jump, and take a shot, and that's when you'll shoot that next thing. So we'll see what that looks like here. So we'll inch forward. See that? That's how you do it, and then you just fall right down here. All right, cool. So let's try that again. So we died there because of the fireballs. But one thing that you can do is you can actually keep that condom wrapper on screen. And we took a hit from that condom wrapper there. Now you can do that, but then you got to be safe afterwards. So we just took 3 hits right there. the fireball, the green guy, and another fireball. That's unfortunate. Okay, so we let the condom wrapper go off screen. The green skull appeared. That's the... and we took 3 hits right there from those fireballs. Okay. So it's all about manipulating the enemies here. If you'll notice, if you notice the patterns, where you spawn an enemy in the screen is really important. See that? Now this guy's here. Jump forward and we're good. Jump over that guy. Now here's the thing. If you keep that condom wrapper on screen, the dude flying will never reappear. So you can literally just jump over the guy. So I'll show you what that looks like. That's actually the strat that I use. See? And then here you just take the hit. Fuck it. You're good. But if you don't want to take that last hit, like I said, you can always do the... Took that hit down there. You don't want to take that. But like I said, if you start taking damage that you're not trying to take, wait and go. You can always do this strategy right there. Now, we still took the hit, but we should have not. That was my mistake. That was my execution error. But yeah, here, oops. Here, nope. I want the foot to be right on that black line. Here. We took the hit from the bottom. Took 2 hits there. There we go. That's perfect. But we let the wrapper despawn, and we can't do that. Took damage there. Perfect. Wait for the guy. Jump over. Take the hit and go. See? Super simple. It's not. It's not a simple screen. This is the hardest screen in the game, and this is what causes most people to give up. If you try to play this game, this screen will make you give up. But set a save state and practice this fucking screen over and over and over again. It's really like, it's not a bad screen once you get used to it. And so we took a hit there. So now we've taken a hit. There's only one sprite on screen. So what's going to happen when I jump over this bick? That big green skull is going to appear. So we just have to be ready and shoot him like that. Good. Wait for the condom wrapper. Go. Jump. Now let's say we're low on health. We spawn this guy in. And that should have worked, but it didn't. That was my fault. Then we just drop here. But yeah, let's try it again. And we let that guy spawn in a little late. So if you go too far forward, the skull's going to spawn in. But that right there is fine. But if you go a little farther forward, that skull will spawn in, as you can see. So we want to land before we jump forward to get that skull, because we don't want that skull to get too far to the left. We want to have control over that skull like that. Now, so if you see, condom wrapper went off the screen. We have another condom wrapper coming from the right. We're going to jump over it, wait, and then let it follow us all the way to the edge here. Here we can just run and jump and take the damage if we want, but if we don't want to do that, we inch. There we go. So I've taught you the fast way and the way with contingencies. Now, this is where you're going to need your second controller. This is the famous boss glitch room. Famous boss glitch room. You can encounter a glitched boss in here, and if you can kill it, it'll save you 25-30 seconds on your PB. But it only shows up 1 out of 20-25 times I've found. But you're gonna need your second controller because we're about to take a death. If the glitch boss does not show up, we're about to lose a life. So we move forward here. You see that white thing right ahead on top of me? That's how I know where to stand. There's an invisible platform here. See that? But if I jump to the right, I fall and die. See? So let's try it again. He's not there. So if he's not there, you go ahead and take the death. Take the death on purpose. Last thing to show you here is if you decide if you're speedrunning and you're not wanting to take the risk of not getting the glitched boss, and I don't know what causes it to spawn, but sometimes it does, and I don't know why. So like I'll run the same save state over and over and over again sometimes, and I'll get it to spawn in. Sometimes I'll hit start a couple of times, and it makes it spawn in. I don't know what the conditions are that are required to make that boss spawn in. He'll spawn in right above us here, or right to the right of us, and then we just sit here and we shoot him. We'll just shoot the boss, but anyway, he's not there. So anyway, if you're speedrunning and you don't want to fuck with the boss, and when I'm doing PB runs, I don't go for the boss glitch. I just run into here and I just jump, and it kills you right away. You just do the jump glitch, right? Which is the jump. So it's you just walk into here, immediately do a jump, and it glitches you out. Then guess what? My player 1 controller does nothing now, because this is now player 2. It's our first death, right? So you grab your you grab your second controller, right? And you run through the stage. Now guess what? This is a free stage. There's nothing in this stage. You just go as fast and as cleanly as you can. All the way to the top, over, jump, easy money, jump, up the ladder. There is no tutorial on this stage here. You just fucking go. There's a couple things I can show you. There's a couple things I can show you here. I'll show you how to beat the boss. But all the way to the top, over. I like to land in the middle. Jump. You skip that ladder. You don't go up that ladder. You go up this ladder. Okay? That's the only thing you really need to know. Now this part here, this part here, those platforms are close enough together, these first 3, that you can just run across them without jumping. But then the next one is longer, so you have to jump. So we'll just run across these and then jump, right? And then you jump to this one and then run across these and then jump. Now here's where the boss is. This is the boss, the final boss of the game. If you're farther forward than this with your X position, you're going to want to get your X position to close to center, which is where mine is now. But 9 times out of 10, when you're coming through here, let me just do this again real quick. Okay, I'll grab the other controller. If you're running this like normal, you're going to have a farther to the right X position, and you're going to want to square that X position up. So X position is to the right of the screen now. It's going to stay that way through here. Down, over, skip that ladder, go up this ladder. X position's all the way to the right. See how it's all the way to the right now? So we go 1, 2, 3. Now when you get here, this is where I like to reposition myself. So I'll jump and then reposition. The reason you do that is because this boss that we're about to fight, if you're scrolled too far to the right, it's going to kill you dead, and it won't either it won't spawn in at all, or when it does, it'll be right on top of you. So you want to get your X position right. Now this is a tough jump. It doesn't look like it, but that right there, that's a tough jump. It is a maxed out jump. There is no room for error. If you miss it, if you miss that jump, then you F yourself. So don't miss that jump. You jump up here, and as you walk, once you cross over the about 3/4 of the waypoint, the boss is going to spawn in. Immediately go to the left slightly, or it will hit you, and then just start lighting into it with arrows as fast as you can. Tap A button, and remember, the closer you are to this enemy when you fire, the more damage it's going to do. That's its pattern. Its pattern is very simple. It does this, and it killed me because I was too close. So that's what you don't want to do. We'll walk through this whole thing again. But you want to be close. You just don't want to be that close. And that boss is nasty. Basically a one-hit KO from that boss. Now, its pattern is stupid, and it's really easy to cheese that boss, and it's not a difficult boss as long as if you just want to run safe, you just stay as far to the middle as you can, run out of its way when it comes, and shoot a bunch of times. If you're at a moderate distance without trying to use the sort of like critical hit type shit I was talking about, getting closer, it's 16 normal. It's 16 damage normal is what it will take. It takes 16 hits. right, square myself up. Come down here, come back up. And then it's going to be a 3-cycle kill. So ideally, there would be a 1 cycle. You can do a thing where you get real close to it, shoot 4 times, then jump over it, and then shoot it from behind, and that will kill it in 1 cycle. My PB has a 2 cycle. So we'll try that one more time. We'll do that whole thing again, and then we'll be done, because there's not a whole lot else I can show you at this point. I never thought in a million years that I would have an hour something long Cheetahmen Speedrun tutorial out there. It's ridiculous. What am I doing with my life right now? All right, all the way up and over. Oh, forgot to... There we go. Hey, just get over there. Same thing here. Land in the middle. Jump. Skip that ladder. Over to this ladder and up. Over. Remember, you can run over these. Oh, why am I keep getting stuck there? Oh, run over these. Jump. Jump. Run over these. Jump. Square your X position onto this platform. Put yourself in a position, start shooting. And if you want to jump down here for safety, do that. And there we go. GG's, clunk, the run is done. That is how you beat the Cheetahmen. I'm going to hopefully upload this thing tomorrow. I'm too tired to mess with the editing and shit tonight. But hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And I hope this will interest you enough to where you will be interested in potentially picking the game up. I know I went into some really ridiculous detail in some of that, so I apologize for that. But I feel like in this particular run, because of the jankiness and because of these weird manipulations you have to do, because of the funky dynamics that the code has, I think in some places it's very appropriate to teach you 2 and 3 different ways to skin a cat. So, no pun intended on a Cheetahmen game. But thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping by. If you like the video and the content, please hit a like below. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. And hopefully I'll continue to bring you some decent content. Those of you that are Cheetahmen fans out there, hopefully this will help you. Those of you that are brand new to Cheetahmen, welcome to the crew, or to the pride, as I should say. Opry 99er, signing out.